Hi, you're welcome, and it's time for the paper review segment. And I'm expecting my guest. I have one already in the studio. I'm going to introduce him, and we go straight to business. When the rest join in, they'll continue with us with the discussion. All right, in the studio I have Alexander Akwaku. He is an NDC activist, a staunch member of the NDC, and he's a regular face of the paper review segment as well. Alex. All right, and we've just been joined in by Madame Dr. Tina Abrifa-Jan. She's a PhD assistant professor of Norfolk State University in Virginia, USA. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome.
Than're you.
All right, Alex, did I say you're welcome? You're welcome as well.
Thank you.
I was introducing when Doc walked in.
No problem.
Okay. So how are you, NDC? How are you doing? I hear you're all in favor of John. Is it true?
You see, there are some questions when you put it direct like that, it's difficult for me to answer.
Okay.
But what I would say is that NDC, we are on course with our reorganization and restructuring. You are very much aware that we have just finished with the constituency elections and nominations have been open, and I think it has even been closed for regional executives. That is what we are doing now. And we are not looking at presidential aspirants now. Our focus is to make sure that we get our soldiers who will do the work for us in place, and that is what we are doing now. And I would like to take this opportunity to appeal to all the delegates in the regional conferences to look out for those who are capable, those who will be able to win us the seat in 2020. They should not go for money. They should not go for, those things that we know of, but rather they should look out for people who are competent, people who have the NDC at heart, people who are ready to die for the party. These are the people that we need in this crucial time. And for flag bearership, I think when the time comes, we'll look at it. But for anybody to say that the entire NDC is rooting for a particular person, I don't think that is right.
You debunk that. Okay, all right. Doc, how's the MPP?
PP is doing very well.
Okay.
We are going to have power again. In 2020, we're going to have many electoral victories.
Okay. All right, we pray everyone well, and the discussion has started. I like starting with something a bit foreign. Now, you're aware that yesterday there was a plane crash in northern Mexico, where but God being good, all the 101 passengers survived. There were a few injuries and all that, but for me, it's about aviation. How do we handle aviation issues? Are we looking at it very well? Not even there, but with us. I mean, how do we avert some of these, Doc?
I think we have to have the right technicians in place, those with the right training. If there's the need for us to get continuing education for the aviation sector, we need to do that. The nation has to invest in that sector so that we can have the right people, the right technical people to assist us and save lives.
Yeah, I was about to ask. I mean, you have a PhD and all, you lecture and everything. Do you think we're training enough aviation experts? You think so?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Alex, what do you think?
I think the training is very key, but I'm not sure that in Ghana here we have even one institution that trains people in that industry. I know we have institutions that train people, air hostess and that kind of, but when it comes to the technical know-how, that one I doubt it. I stand to be corrected, but I doubt it seriously. And as a nation that we are saying that we want to develop the domestic flight industry, I think it's very important that we begin to look at, because it's not there are people who have the desire to go into that sector, but the cost of training, because if we don't have the institution yet, it means that you have to go outside to go and have your training before you can come in. And the cost of training if it becomes so high, then it means that we may not be able to have enough competent people to manage that sector for us. So as we expand and we are looking at opportunities of developing our local aviation industry, I think it's better that we start looking at getting those institutions in place too, so that we begin to train our own. Then when we get there, I'm sure they will be able to take care of it.
All right, so coming down here, I want us to discuss a little bit now. This is a case that started way back in April, and it has to do with two. I know you heard about it. Two Tamale Technical University students who killed a reverend way back 9th November, I think 2017 thereabout, and they have been sentenced to death by hanging. Now, my issue here is, are we experiencing moral decadence in our schools? What is causing these? I mean, you're tertiary students, and you go and do a thing like that. Doc, what do you make out of this?
It's first of all, it's sad that such a thing happened. I'm not sure about the security system for the Tamale Technical University, but definitely this calls for the beefing up of our security systems on campus. Yeah. We really need to secure our workers, our students, etc. And in terms of sentencing them to death by hanging, that's quite could be problematic. We really need to see what the law says and make sure that we have justice prevail.
Okay, Alex. I mean, this case started way back April 17th this year, and it went on till now. It might be good news but not like Doc is saying. I mean, we need to look at these things. What's your take on this?
Yeah, you see, per our laws, we still have this death sentence on our books. And once it is there, the judges will use it, unless we do something about it. But I'm looking at the youthfulness of these young people who have gotten themselves in this kind of trouble. It's very sad, very, very sad, because people who are in tertiary institutions, I believe they have high hopes for their lives in future. The family is looking up to them. Their friends are looking up to them. So with this coming in, I know they themselves will feel very disappointed in themselves. The family will feel very disappointed in them. So as a nation, I believe that we may not know exactly what prompts them to do such an act. If we terminated their life, it means that we are not giving them another chance at all. So to me, this capital punishment that we still have on our statutory books, we should begin to reform, so that at least life imprisonment, and bet you they are sentenced like that, and a lot of them are in someone, because there's no sitting president is willing to
sign that
signature. So it's like the person knows that I will die tomorrow, or I will die any moment from now. And the mental torture that they go through is even something that we need to talk about. So to me, we need to look at more pragmatic ways of dealing with this issue.
But taking somebody's life is a serious one.
It's a serious thing. The mere fact that somebody has taken somebody's life does not also give us the right to take his or her life. I believe in reforming. I believe, as a Christian, I believe in giving people another chance. Well, there are a lot of us, the kind of things that we do per the scriptures. Viewers, pardon me if today I'm going to, if per the scriptures, we deserve to die. But the law keeps us alive. So to me, we should look at our law. If we can give the people life sentence, then maybe we see to their reform. If the person reforms enough and we realize we can bring him back to society, we do that rather than terminating life.
So the head pastor was of the End Time Believers Bible Fellowship in Tamale, and the two students are Kwame Doji and Obio Akwesi, and in fact the two of them are cousins, you know, so it was a conspiracy thing. I think the police did well in this one, because when they killed the pastor, they took his car. It was a very nice, luxurious car, and they went to the mechanics to respray and all that, and they put a price tag for sale.
You see, that is where I'm coming to. If you look at our society now, the desire to acquire wealth.
That's it.
It
has become so intricate.
It is killing our youth, and I think it's hard time now we begin to talk.
What is making it so?
Go to the churches and you understand what is happening. I mean, we see you go to church from morning till afternoon, and all that they talk about is riches. Nobody talks to you about things that will make you, do a deeper reflection on yourself and say that, oh, this habit that I have is not good. Let me show love. Let me show this. Okay. We are not doing that. Rather, it's all about riches, how to make it, how to break through. I mean, and if you have a society like that we praise riches more than good virtues, this is what you will get. Yeah. You know,
Doc, should we have counselors in the schools?
Definitely. Yeah. Counselors will be priceless. You know, having counselors in the school will be priceless. We're, building on my fellow panel's point, we need to have capacity building or capacity building training for the youth. Okay. Many of the youth today don't have the requisite skills to acquire wealth on their own. And so they look up to get rich quick schemes to acquire that wealth. And as a society, we need to encourage our youth to build their capacities. We need to create more employment. We need to give them the basic skills that they can use to acquire or get employment, so that they can be self-sufficient, not necessarily becoming rich overnight. Because it's almost like the order of the day, the youth chasing after so much in terms of wealth, and that's becoming disastrous. And this is critical point to what we are just discussing now, that perhaps they killed him just to get his car.
All right, so then, like I was saying, so they put a price tag for sale, and the police went in like they wanted to buy the car. It was a very good move. The police there, kudos to the police this time, and they're doing well. They're really doing well. Why are you smiling? They're doing very well.
No, you see, I've had the opportunity here to commend some of our police personnel because of the wonderful work that they are doing. It's rather unfortunate that they have some bad nuts among them who always want to bring their name into disrepute. So when we see good things, and when it comes to our police, I think they are one of the efficient ones in Africa. It's at times, lack of political will and certain things that makes them behave in some of the ways that they behave, So.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to move to my next story to look at. But somebody just says that, please, these two people must be killed. It will serve as an exemplary for others. They must die. Yeah, that's strong. Let's be clear. All right. So
be merciful.
Okay. So move to my next story, and I know Alex is going to like that because Alex is also a tax expert, and we're looking at the luxury vehicles levy takes off today. Ghanaian Times, page 17. And it says that luxury vehicles levy takes off today. This is by the Ghanaian Times reporter. It says that the implementation of the luxury vehicles levy begins today, August 1st, 2018. The Ghana Revenue Authority GRA has announced. The levy passed by Parliament requires vehicles with high engine capacity of 2,950 cubic centimeters and more to pay annual levies. Vehicles with engine capacity from 2,950 cubic centimeters to 3,549 cc are to pay 1,000 Ghana cedis from 3,550 cc to 4,049 cc will pay 1,500 Ghana cedis, while those above 449 cubic centimeters will pay 2,000 Ghana cedis. A statement issued by the GRA Commissioner General on Monday said the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority (DVLA) was authorized by law to collect the levy on behalf of the government with effect from Wednesday, August 1st, 2018. The levy shall be paid on the registration of vehicles and subsequently on or before annual renewal or of the roadworthy certificate of such vehicles with engine capacity listed above. Alex, we need to rake in a lot of revenue. Good move, good tax, but how is it going to be implemented?
Yeah, the implementation is very key over here. And before we can have a very good implementation, we must have a very good modalities in place. When we talk of luxury vehicle, which ones are we referring to? And so far, from the arguments that I have heard, we have limited the definition to a luxury vehicle to the capacity of the vehicle. You know, how many liters of petrol or diesel that the car consume. And I think if we tread on that tangent, it will be very counterproductive to us. Yes, vehicles with, it is assumed that the vehicles with high capacities, okay, are presumed to be luxury vehicles. But I can tell you, the vehicle that I'm driving, the pickup, Mitsubishi pickup, is an ordinary pickup, but it has that engine capacity. You understand? So there are other things I believe that if we want to do this, let's do due diligence. Let's come up with a proper definition. It's not, and there are some vehicles, okay, that are there, that are used for other commercial activity. They are not necessarily in the transport business, but people who are into other businesses, okay, have acquired those vehicles and they use it in their business. So when you make it like 3 liters above, cars should pay extra because they are luxury. I don't know how you define the luxury. And I think GRE should not be quick at implementing this, rather. But I think since the minister, it's barely 1 month, isn't it? So at least they should do some checks here and there. Well, there are some vehicles that are luxury, but yes, they have a lower capacity.
Okay.
You know, so we should look at all the. Because when you talk of luxury and you just limit it to the engine size, then we are in for trouble.
But don't you think that DVLA is the right place to handle this, because they deal with the cards, so they would know?
Yes, they would know. That's why I'm saying that let's do proper consultation.
Okay.
You know, because the cars that are coming in, you know, if I have a car with a real camera, if I have a car with a CD player in it, if I have a car that the seat is adjustable, if I have, you know, so, you know, there are so many things that you will need to look at to define luxury. But if just you are looking at the engine capacity and you say I should pay, and for all you know, my car, if I have to adjust the seat, I have to pull it and push it myself. You know, when some people have cars that you just press a knob and there you go. So let's define it properly so that it will not create problem, because it's good that those who have, we made them to pay more so that it will be for the common good of all of us. But where we are targeting those people and we don't do proper classification, then we rope in those who are in the middle and even those who are the low end. And that becomes a problem for us.
Doc, so moving on that tangent, have we defined the parameters well? Have we nice tax, but the definition, are we ready to face this task?
Yeah, all that he said is, you know, it's true. We can consult with the car manufacturing companies. They have a certain way of defining what a luxury car is. And so I believe that just depending on the engine size and the engine capacity, etc., might not constitute a full or an accurate definition of a luxury car. For example, some cars have push start, some have air conditions, some don't have it, but the engine capacity may be high. And so we can collaborate with the manufacturing companies to know exactly what they define as luxury car. For example, Toyota has Lexus as a luxury car, but Corolla is not. Mercedes have, some companies just manufacture luxury cars. And so we really need to consult with them, make sure that the definition that we are using in Ghana here is commensurate with what is being used by the car manufacturing companies, and that will really help us to streamline the whole issue of collecting revenue from people using luxury cars. And we need to really also look at a national database that will help us to collect these taxes effectively.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, I'm looking at the fact of monitoring. Alex, once again, you are a tax expert and all that. Like Madam has said, now how do we check and monitor these collection of taxes? What are the mechanics that GR are going to put in place to make sure they check what's going on DVLA?
Yeah, I think this one it is very easy for them to do that.
Okay.
Because any car that comes into the country comes through our ports.
Okay.
And from there we have the custom officers there. They will make sure that the car.
Alex, you know that at times we hear things, things pass through and all. There are a few leakages somewhere.
The leakages are there, you understand, and you cannot block it totally. But even if the car is able to, they are even able to smuggle it into the country, you still need to do your registration before you can use the vehicle.
Definitely.
You understand me? And now the system that they have there, if you go and they key in the chassis number into the, and you have not paid the duty, it will expose you.
Okay.
You understand? So I think with this one, it will not be a major problem.
Okay.
What will happen is that because this is a tax that you can decide to pay or not to pay. You understand? What will happen is that I'm sure if you look at yourself and you know that this year your inflows are not that strong, you may decide that, okay, I will avoid the tax for now, maybe for this year, and pay next year.
Okay.
You understand?
Is that
oh, yeah,
is that done?
yes. If I decided to park my car at home and I decide not to use it for that year,
okay,
you understand me? I will not pay. The year that
but if you're going to register, you register for both.
When I'm going to renew my distance, then I will go and pay for it. So it's the.
But in that way, so then we're losing certain revenue to meet our targets.
Oh, definitely. That's what I'm saying. It's like there's an indirect tax, and indirect taxes you can always, if you know how to go, you can always avoid them and pay when you want to pay.
Okay.
You understand me?
All right. So yeah. So Doc, if I bought a car before this levy takes up like today, are they going to calculate the number of years I have used the car till now and then make me pay?
I think the law is effective from today. It's not retroactive, so they'll find a way to tax them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't pay for.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Okay. All right. Okay, let me move to my next story. Looking at the Supreme Court dismisses application against appointment of EC chair. And when you go to page 3 of the Ghanaian Times, and it says that the Supreme Court, page 3. Okay, that's a story by Malik Suleimana. The Supreme Court yesterday dismissed an interlocutory injunction application seeking to stop President Nana Addo Dankwa-Akufo-Addo from appointing a new chairperson for the Electoral Commission (EC). In a unanimous decision, a 7-member panel of the Supreme Court presided over Justice Julius Ansah ruled that the application was irrelevant. Other members of the panel were Justice Jones Doche, Edin Yeboah, Paul Bafoboni, Sule Gbadegbe, and Vida Kotubanfo, and Yao Apao. Look, Good job. Let's see. What do you think? Are we testing our law? Are we testing the rule of law?
I don't think this will work because the president is following the law of appointing an EC chairperson. So, you know, the pundits can make the noise, but it's not going to see the light of day.
Yeah. But to have a Ghanaian citizen take an issue like that to court, do you think on a general level, I mean, Ghanaians are beginning to bite into law, to know that we are a law-abiding nation? Was that a good move?
Civic engagement is always good. We need to hold our leaders accountable and responsible, and so for people to engage at this level, that's good. It's just that the rules have to be followed, and if the president is following the rules, one can complain, but it wouldn't stop him or stop the government from pursuing that agenda.
Okay. Alex, the Supreme Court is supposed to interpret and define the laws for us. I mean, they've dismissed the case and the application that came to them. Was this expected?
You see, like you said, they are the custodians of the law, and like they always said, the law is in their bosom. So whatever they say is, you know. But looking at the whole thing, I think the injunction that is being sought for, I think that is the one that they threw out. But the substantive issue is yet to be determined. And I think they felt like asking the president not to go ahead with the appointment of the new EC boss. It could be like asking the president not to carry out his constitutional functions. But I think yesterday, if you listen, they also made it very clear that irrespective of the fact that the president has the power to appoint a new ECJ, if the substantive issue, look at and it goes otherwise, then that nullify whatever appointment that the president has made. You know, so I think what they are trying to do is that let the president go ahead with his constitutional rights. We'll also look at the issue. If we look at the issues and it goes the other way, then whatever that he has done becomes null and void. You know, so to me, it's good that we are, testing our constitution in this manner, and it is very interesting the way these days. Any issue that comes up, we want to go to the court and go and battle it out there. It's better than using the fist, you know.
So Doc, does this paint a picture of the fact that the Ghanaian citizenry of late is not having a broader scope, is not understanding democracy, and we're moving forward?
I think so. They are being citizens and not spectators, as the president put it. Like I said earlier, it's a good thing that citizens are being watchful. They are following discussions, especially civic discussions, and they are engaging. And I'd like to take this opportunity to encourage all citizens to get involved, because it's about us, it's about our elections in the future, and we really need to have a voice in the process of electing or appointing a new EC.
All right, now moving on, I'm going to go to the Independent. Another very worrying, it keeps on happening of late, and I don't know what is happening. And I know Alex and Doc are going to let us really into this one. They call it Black Wednesday. 40% local banks going down today. Capital requirement wreaks havoc. When you go to the story on page 2, it says that the Bank of Ghana